Hi everyone, I'm back with the next episode of Vlogmas. I'm sorry it's taken me a day or so to come back to you. So today I will show you another sewing tip, which again I've shown on my channel before. It's to do with the overlocker, but if you struggle to thread your overlocker, I think this is actually a really useful tip. Because I think it takes a lot of guesswork out of where the loopers should be. So I'll send you over to watch that in a minute, and then I will chat to you a little bit more about our lovely Southern Sewcial Christmas Party, and then and a couple of bits that have come into my sewing room, as well as what I got in Evil Santa, and also what I made, which is this. And then I will finish off as usual by opening my next advent gift from the lovely Tina at Bobbing Along Nicely. So as I said, today's tip is about threading your overlocker, and I found this tip in my book on it's called Serges, but it's a book by Singer, which, as I think I've mentioned before, it's quite an old book, but it really works, and I think when I showed it last time on my channel, some people said that's never made explicit in any of the manuals, and it certainly isn't in mine. So have a watch of that, and I'll see you in a second. So I just wanted to show you a quick threading tip for an overlocker, which I found really useful. I didn't know it initially. Maybe some of you did when you got yours, but I didn't. And when I found it out, it made threading it a whole lot more reliable. So you can see here, I've got my overlocker so that only the lower looper is threaded. So my thread's coming down here. Excuse the piles of fabric stuff in the background. And everything else is unthreaded at the moment. So my lower looper is threaded, and I have got, I think quite a lot of overlockers have this little diagram which shows you how to thread up the overlocker. And my thread will go, it goes down there through this green. You basically follow the green colour coding from the line, and then it goes through this, and then if I just push that up, you can probably just about see there's a little green hook in there where my screwdriver's pointing, and the thread goes down there, and then it comes up along the back of the lower looper and threads through there. So far so good. So I just thought I'd show you that. Now the trick for making the overlocker a whole lot easier to thread is that before you thread your upper looper, which is just here, which is actually a lot easier in terms of steps. If I go back to my diagram, you come down through the tension dial, which is there, and then all you have to do is you pop your thread through this yellow loop here, and then it runs up through that hook and into the upper looper. Now the trick that I didn't know before is that before you do that, you turn your dial, your button on the side, until the lower looper disappears right back out of sight. And that click you heard was the little hook just disappearing back. So if I just show you again, if you focus on the loopers, you can see there's the lower looper coming across and the upper looper coming up. But before you thread it, turn it right back there out of sight before you thread it. So I'm just going to go and thread that, and then I'll thread my needles, and then I'll show you that hopefully it should be threaded up and stitching. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, so I've got my overlocker all threaded up. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to close up the front of the overlocker because it won't sew if I don't. And ordinarily I'd be doing this with the light off. I'd have switched it off before I threaded it. I've only got the light on and got it switched on because I'm showing you, and it makes the light a bit better. But ordinarily you should switch it off before you do this. Obviously switch it back on to try it or it won't work. So hopefully, if I now hold these threads, this is a bit of a weird camera angle because I'm sitting to the side, but let's see what happens. If I press the foot down would help, and off I go. And there you see that it's all threaded up and sewing. So I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. I do intend tomorrow to film some clips for tips, so going forward it will all be new material, so put it like that. So it might amuse you to know that I did spend some of this afternoon in my sewing room, but I wasn't cutting out a garment. I was cutting out this lovely stuff, which is lining for kitchen cupboards, because having just had our kitchen redone, we've decided we don't want the bottoms of the cupboards to be marked, you know how they can be with tins and you know, bits of tea falling out of tea bag containers and all that kind of stuff. So I have been cutting a load of these to size on my cutting table, and this is one of the remnants. So yeah, so that was a really entertaining hour and a half in my sewing room, but anyway, needed doing, so it's all done. So yes, on Saturday I went down to Buckinghamshire to the Southern Sewcial, and I mentioned to you that I was going to take this down. So this is the LB Pullover, which I took down to sew. It's a Paper Theory Patterns garment, and I've sewn it all up on my overlocker. You will see it's not quite finished, so I haven't finished the hems on the sleeves yet, and I haven't yet finished the hem on the bottom. And if I adjust this down a little bit, I will put in a photo of it, but you will see that as things stand, it currently hits me kind of on my high hip, which I think is fine. I wish I'd got a little bit more to do a hem with, so I'm kind of contemplating whether I just hem it as is and the same on the cuffs, or whether I add a band onto the bottom. If I do, I'll do a very loose band in the same fabric, because I really don't want it to be tight on my hips. I quite like it as it is. Tried it on for hubby. He thinks it needs to be a bit longer. And I think certainly when I make it again, I probably would add a couple of inches to the length, and then I might sew one of those faux bands on the overlocker, so you can make it look as if you've got a band on, but actually it's just the way you've sewn it. If you want a tip on that, leave a message in the comments and I'll do that during Advent as well, because I think it's quite useful. It saves adding a band on. So if you want to see how I do that on the overlocker, let me know. But I have got enough fabric, I think, to do bands. But I really like it, really like the neckline. Probably better actually if I fold it down, but I'm pleased to get this piece of fabric sewn up as well. And I've put a label in the back which says today's a good day, so I'll just put a photo of that in here for you. And I thought, well, it was really appropriate because when I was sewing it, I was with all my sewing friends, so of course it was a good day. It was a great day. So there was lots of food to be had and some amazing cakes. I don't know who made them, but they were fabulous. And as I mentioned before, we did a Secret Santa, but we did a version of it called Evil Santa. And that meant that everybody took it in turns to choose their gift. So you obviously couldn't see what was inside because they were all wrapped up. And then when you opened your gift, you could swap with someone who'd already opened their gift. They had to swap if you wanted to. But actually, I was first out of the hat, so that meant that I didn't have anybody to swap with. So let me show you quickly what I got. So I got lots and lots of little gifts. So it was really thoughtfully put together. So thank you if my Secret Santa is watching. So I got, it was some sewing gifts and some not. So I got some hand warmers that you put in the microwave, and they've got these cute little dogs on, so they will be really useful when I finally manage to get out and do some walking. I got some beads with, if you can see, they've got little daisies in, and kind of like almost peridot stones. Well, peridot's my birthstone, so that's quite interesting. So yeah, some nice beads. I got reindeer Maltesers. I got a retractable tape measure in this wonderful leopard print casing, which I think will be really useful just to keep in my bag for when I'm out and about, because it's secure like this. If I take a normal tape measure, it just comes unwound and goes all over my bag, so I tend not to. But I think that's what I'll do. I'll keep that in my handbag. I got these embroidery winders, so you can wind your embroidery threads onto them. So there's 4 of those. I got a couple of fat quarters. Can't lay my hands on the other one at the moment, but that's one of them. Beautiful blue. So I think that's lovely. I think that would look really nice on pockets, or maybe something like the yoke on a shirt, something like that, or a collar. I think that's really pretty. And I think finally I got a cross-stitch kit with little dogs on, which is very cute. So that was what I got for Secret Santa. And as I say, I couldn't swap, and no one chose to swap with me, but I think I'm very lucky because I got lots of different things, so that was really interesting and fun. So that was great. And then later on we did a quiz, which was put together by the fabulous Mary, who runs the Sewing Social with Sam C. Queen Girly, and they were all sewing related questions. And I think that, yeah, there were 5 rounds of 5 questions, and some were on patterns and some were on thread, and some were general questions. So I've got a little bit of footage of us doing the quiz, and I was very lucky because I was on the winning team. We were a team of 3, and we managed to win by 1 point from Julie's team. And we all won one of these lovely badges from Becky's Sewing Studio, who sadly, as you probably know, isn't trading anymore. But it says Fabric Collectors Club, and then it's got this little pile of fabric on it. And I collect pin-on badges, so that was the perfect prize for me. So that was the Southern Sewcial, and I was quite impressed with myself that I managed to get this made and didn't get absolutely nothing done. Didn't get my other garment cut out. I did take it with me to cut out, but I didn't get around to it, so that was fine. I didn't really think I'd get 2 things sewn, given that we were going to do the quiz and everything. So yeah, so that was the Southern Sewcial, and I just wanted to show you a couple of other bits that have come into my sewing room this last few days. So the first one is this, which is a Butterick pattern, and it's Butterick B6877. So I picked this from a sale that was being held by the Fold line, where they were trying to make space for new patterns, so they were discounting some of their hard copy patterns. And I picked this because I was drawn to the colour blocking in it, having made the Ellie and Max So Scrappy Top. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link to my vlog down below. But I've got a lot of woven bits of fabric as well, so I thought that that would be quite a nice way of doing some colour blocking with some wovens. So I got that. And then the only thing that I bought that was sewing related in the Black Friday sales was a couple of pieces of fabric to make the Get Out of Town 2 bag by Annie's Patterns. I think I'd said to you I wanted to make it, and I've got I've got the rainbow webbing. So I was on the lookout for something that was plain, and I saw this, and this was Dalston Mill, so it was in their Black Friday sale. And so as you can see, it's just plain black, and it's in a kind of linen look. I think it's a linen look twill. So if they've still got it, I'll link it down below. Linen look canvas, sorry. And that's in the shade Midnight. And when I ordered it, I wasn't sure if it was black or navy blue, and it's black, but that's absolutely fine. And then for the inside of the bag, I chose this because I thought this was nice and bright. And this is called something like Amsterdam Houses. And this is just a cotton poplin. So I got a metre of each of those, and I think will go quite nicely with the rainbow notions that I've got. So those are the things that have come in this week. I think I was quite restrained, really, mainly because, as I've talked to you about, having sewing overwhelm. So I'm trying not to go mad and get too much new stuff in. I also didn't pick anything up from the swaps table at the Southern Sewcial. I took a few fabrics down and a pattern, which I'd got off another swaps table in the wrong size. So I took it down so someone else can benefit from it. But I didn't pick anything up. So I thought I was pretty good. And also the other thing I got at the Sewing Social was a lovely gift of chocolate from Mary, the revitalised sewist. So that was really kind of her. We all got one of those. So that was the Southern Sewcial. So I came back on Saturday evening, and Sunday kind of chilled out, didn't really do too much. I don't think I did anything in terms of sewing at all, but obviously we had to get ready because we were going away again on the Monday. So yeah, that's it. Apart from opening my Advent gift from the lovely Tina, bobbing along nicely. Now, I know that she hasn't been putting vlogs up, but I saw a message from her. She'd posted on her YouTube channel that they'd had a power outage. I think that was probably because of Storm Bram. So I don't know. I suspect that's been why she's not been uploading, because I imagine that she's probably had a lot of other things to sort out if they've had a power problem. But hopefully she will be back soon. Yes, so I have located parcel number 4. So let's see what I have this time. It's quite light, this one. The last one was pattern weight, so it was really heavy. So let's see. I am nearly there. Ooh! Bib and braces set. So that's really good, because obviously I've just used one of these to make my last lot of dungarees. So it's great to have a replacement set. So thank you, Tina. That is lovely, and they're nice and wide as well. They're 40mm, so that is great. So I want to make the Tilly and the Buttons. Is it the Clio's? The Clio pinafore. So that is absolutely perfect. So hopefully I shall get on and make that fairly soon as well. So thank you, Tina. That is lovely. And I will be back very soon with another tip for the 12 tips of Christmas and my next Advent gift. And I will tell you a bit more about my trip away to Portsmouth. But I hope you are all getting some time to sew, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.